you know what, we're going to go for a 3-hour spin. We're not going to like worry about any dating, nothing. We're going to ride really steady as a group, and then when we get to these 5 hills that are dotted around the circuit, we're going to hit them all as hard as we can. And that's kind of like the fun approach, and the free ride approach. So it does work. I do it once or twice a week almost.
That's a good way to keep social, because I know you still participate with your local cycling club in Binia, don't you? So how is it keeping humble to your like beginnings at Binia, whereas you have been cycling alongside some of the world's best?
It's a no-brainer really. It's just the way I was brought through the club. There was kind of like this blueprint of you just for junior riders. When I joined, we had club runs, we had chain gangs, we had faster group rides on the weekend, we had time trials midweek. We had a good group of racing cyclists that would then like go off and do the midweek crits or go off and do road races once every month, and I just immersed myself in that as a junior. And then when I signed a GLT Condor, I was still, it was almost like a family atmosphere in the club. And the club's quite big, you know. There's 250 riders in the club, so I used to see probably the core of them, which would be maybe 50 of them, nearly every Wednesday and then nearly every weekend. So it would be quite a close community. So I would end up, you know, going away and doing races or doing stage races or whatever, and coming back. And because of the intensity of that, like being on tour, traveling takes more than anything. Then the time between those races, I would just end up like riding along steady or just like having these fun free rides, and that would be with them.
Yeah. So at just 25 years old, you've already achieved a number of things in winning the British Hill Climbing Championships, the Welsh Hill Climbing Championships, and some excellent place finishes in things like the British Road Race, one time finishing just behind Geraint Thomas. What would you consider your main achievement in the sport so far?
Well, as a race result, I always hold my highest achievements to be things related to multi-day events, stage races, because generally they haven't been spoken about as much, I don't think, and yet they are like the hardest things to achieve. I think when you look at the Tour de France, when you look at 1 week stage races, they're very hard to be consistent in. And I have fond memories of the Tour of Japan. I went there, funnily enough, just 2 months before that British Road Race Championships that I came 13th in or 12th in, and Geraint finished just in front of me, and I won the Under-23 Road Race Championship that day. I had only just come back 2 months prior from the Tour of Japan, and it was I think it was an 8-day stage race then, and I got dropped on the 3rd day, and I DNF'd, and I was basically on a holiday in Japan, unfortunately, watching my teammates racing around for the next few days. But coming back to that almost 3 or 4 years later, and it almost had the same course, same stages, everything. It's very weird coming back to the same race 4 years later and everything's the same. And we went up Mount Fuji, and we finished, I think it was around 1,700 meters above sea level. It was a long old climb. The stage was only something like 35, 40 kilometer stage, very short stage. And 15 kilometers of it was uphill, and lots of hairpins, broken road surface, and we finished up Mount Fuji. And I scraped 11th that day, but it was the way I rode to still be in the Yellow Jersey group. And there's moments like this that to me stand out more than anything else. Not because I've won, not because I've done anything, I guess, that you could write home about. But there's certain races, like in the Tour of Portugal, the Tour de Beauce in Canada, just prior to big crash 2 years ago, where I was actually up there on mountaintop finishes in stage races. And it's not quite the same as doing a one-day race when you finish at the top of a mountain. It's even more difficult doing it, 4, 5, 6 days into a stage race. And that, to me, has always drawn me to the sport, the multiple day racing rather than the one-off. So for me, those are my biggest standouts in terms of results.